The doomers are wrong again. The U.S. economy added 130,000 jobs in January. That was double Wall Street expectations. The unemployment rate ticked down to 4.3%. That is the best monthly gain since December of 2024. Is the Trump economy finally taking off? Welcome to the Big Money Show, everyone. I'm Jackie DeAngelis, along with my co-hosts Taylor Riggs, David Asman, Brian Brenberg, and with us for the hour, Michael Lee, strategy founder. Michael Lee, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
This wasn't a close call either. The forecast beat 79 out of 80 estimates. Strong jobs numbers also mean that the Fed stays in its holding pattern, though, which is why we're seeing some of the red that we see on the screen today. President Trump telling Larry Kudlow that investment equals growth, growth equals jobs.
We have $18 trillion invested in this country. Nobody's ever had anything like it. We haven't. When I say nobody, it's not even close. Not even close. I think the record is $3 trillion. We're at $18 trillion. And, you know, they talk about construction jobs are way up, right? Well, they're up because they're building all these factories all over the country.
So is this a resilient economy or a labor market that's strong on the surface but tightening underneath? And it's really funny, Mike, because I was talking to a couple of experts who said they were expecting this jobs report to buck, you know, sort of the trend that we've seen and be stronger, and that labor might not really be the place that the Fed can hang its hat if it wants to lower rates. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so this was an excellent report. Take a step back, though. I don't trust the BLS labor report, right? We've had like 24 out of the last 26 months have been revised lower. When that happens 10 times in a row. So, like, I don't know what's going on in the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I don't really trust a lot of the government data. First, it's hard to collect data. But second, with the way the economy is changing and the way they collect this data, it's survey data, right? So you're using the phone to call employers of 50 or more people, and you have a rolling sample of 50,000 people throughout the year to judge a labor force of 165 million.
Okay, we have talked about the labor BLS, the reliability, who should be running it, what should happen. But the truth is, Brian, this is the only data that we have. And the market does react to it. It not only reacted to the upside when the numbers seem, you know, is strong, but then Mr. Market always processes everything. It thinks about what the Fed will do with this, and it says, oh, this isn't going to make the Fed enthusiastic about cutting. We love our sugar high, you know, keep that punch bowl spiked. So here we are right now. If the labor numbers continue to bounce along the way Mike is saying, maybe they're not home runs every time, but maybe they're not terrible either. We stay in a holding pattern.
This is why we got to fix the Fed. I totally agree with your analysis. Like, they're hanging on this number, and markets are moving, and maybe the Fed minds are changing. But I'm totally with Mike on this one. I don't know what to make of this number. I really don't. Like, 130 is a good number. Beat expectations. I have zero confidence it's going to be anywhere near 130 3 months from now. I just don't. It's going to get revised. Last year's 2025 numbers, we had 584,000 jobs created last year, okay? That number got revised down to 181, okay? That's a wipeout of the jobs we thought were created last year. Then you go to the household survey, which we're not even talking about, different survey. That showed the number of employed increased by 528,000.
And the productivity is through the roof, our increase in productivity. And the one thing that all economists agree on is you increase productivity and you'll have lower inflation.
But then there's no labor market problem.
But I want to talk about another phantom, which besides the phantom of inflation and tariffs, which is the phantom jobs, which is what, again, we are trying to work through. Mike, I think that's part of what you are seeing in the dysfunction of some of these labor statistics. The last 2 years of the Biden administration, we had 1.5 million phantom jobs.
On their SaaS stocks, they're selling Bitcoin too, because look, in a risk-off environment, you're selling what you can, not what you want. And so a lot of time, and you may not necessarily be selling, you may be getting liquidated, right? So you get this avalanche. So it remains to be seen. If we see a sharp reversal in these AI names, Bitcoin could be back off to the races. So I'm not 100% convinced that this is the end of this kind of near-term cycle with Bitcoin, but we'll see.
Okay.